Life is like walking without stopping, continuously because time is unstoppable. Every single second we are moving towards the future. Time is cruel because time doesn't show mercy, and our perspective towards life is sometimes decided by the time through our experience, through the pressure that you are in at the moment. Growth, in another word, aging. Aging is inevitable, and our perspective changes as we age. When we were a child, our perspective towards life can be simple and innocent because we didn't experience much as a kid. Our perspective slowly gets the direction as time goes by, as we experience, as we get the knowledge. Perspectives vary because people grow up in different environments, different cultures, and different guardians. Sometimes having a strong perspective towards life is a gift that you have. Learning about morality and ethics are important in life because morality that is learnt becomes conscience. Knowledge often prevents you from making wrong decisions because you know the consequences of a mistake without experiencing it. Morality is a compass that guides your perspective. Perspective is like you see the world with your eyes. As we age, we experience more, and we get distracted by others. Pleasure is like a shiny jewelry that catches our eyes, and if we are too focused on pursuing our pleasure, our perspective focuses on how to pursue more pleasure, and end up getting addicted to the pleasure. The addiction often narrows our perspective, and from there, we forget the meaning of life and keep pursuing pleasure. At this point, we are lost. Losing a perspective towards life is losing a destination. Perspective helps you know what to look for in life. Perspective is like an eye, and eyes sometimes can deceive us, and often as a human, people have selective views. Perspective towards life is different individually, and it depends on what you believe in. Belief, in another word, is confidence. And having a confident perspective is important when you talk about your ideas. Belief motivates you to move to your goal, and strong belief can make you achieve what you are pursuing. However, sometimes delusion is disguised as belief, and your strong perspective can make you judge whether your belief is realistic or just an unrealistic delusion. The importance of perspective helps you make a rational judgment. You can be understanding, but you can't understand everyone, and it is impossible to understand everyone because of the perspective. We often believe in what we see, and everyone has a different perspective because they see things from a different angle. Sometimes even if you want to persuade others, you can't. Knowledge gives power your perspective because if your perspective is built based on the facts and knowledge, you can make a factual argument. However, people sometimes can't be persuaded because they are stubborn. They believe in what they hear and what they see more often. Being alone and having time by yourself often helps you to build your perspective. Instead of pursuing the pleasure when you are alone, just question yourself about your own life. Ask yourself how to define your own happiness, or something like that. If you are serious about finding happiness in your life, then don't think about any pleasure that you are chasing for. Just turn off the light that distracts you, and remember your perspective towards life. If you never had one, then make one. It's never too late. Perspective can be widened if you have a personality to accept the difference and take the criticism towards yourself, which means you can always improve yourself. Once you become stubborn, then that's the moment you realize your perspective is narrow. If you can only think in one direction in life, handling the frustration might be tough for you. Thinking outside of the box is how you can find more gems. Because in a box of life, we might not be able to find the gems that you are looking for if you live only in the box. Gems are usually outside of our normal life. Discovering a new perspective gives you another motivation and reason to live. In life, we experience environmental changes. We grow up and we are no longer a child anymore. And as we age, we decide what we want to be. And the goal of life is often decided by the desire. For example, I'm writing because I want to share my thoughts, morals through stories, and I decided to become a writer ever since I realized that writing is the only way that I can truly write my thoughts. It is my deepest desire to be understood, so I do appreciate people who can actually see the messages through the writing and my arts. Desires often come from the environment, and pursuing desire with morals and ethics always gives others inspiration. Perspective takes a role while you are pursuing your dream. Ethical perspective, logical perspective, emotional perspective, and futuristic perspective. Once you become an adult and have a family, build a life with others, your ethical perspective can be emphasized because you have to be more responsible as a parent. Once you make decisions for each action, you think from a logical perspective to see what kind of consequence you will have by making a decision. Emotional perspective helps you to understand people you love, not just in your way, but others' perspective as well. Life is not always about the conclusion. Futuristic perspective helps you plan out your future, just like you are trying to see somewhere further with your eyes. Futuristic perspective can be an assumption, because nobody can predict the future, but futuristic perspective can help you to find direction towards future. For example, while you are driving, if you see a construction zone ahead of you, then you have to slow down for safety. After you get out of the construction zone, you can start to drive normally. There is pace in life. Futuristic perspective will guide you when is the right time to change direction, and when is the right time to make a decision. It's okay to be late. As long as you know where you are going, then you will arrive at the destination eventually. We are living in a society, and having a perspective helps you to understand others. Your perspective exists because others' perspectives exist. However, there are strong perspectives built with morals and logics, and there are perspectives lacking logics and morals. Power of a strong perspective is that you can persuade people with strong reasoning, and the first person you have to persuade is yourself. If you cannot convince yourself, then you can't convince others. Perspective soon will be important in life eventually. It is part of aging, and realizing that differences exist makes your life more varied and rich. Happiness is always near us, and to find happiness, we need our direction of perspective. So instead of pursuing glittery pleasure, find happiness around you first. Build a perspective that you can stay as who you are, as realistic as you can, and be a person who has a point of view towards your life. You can define the meaning of life if you have a perspective. Without perspective, life itself just becomes an idea, which means the definition you gave to life might be forgotten.